I'm sure all of us can agree that one of the greatest TV series to ever exist is River Monsters. Thrilling, action packed, and most importantly, educational. So I'm going to add every single river monster to Minecraft, one by one. We start with Season 1, Episode 1, Piranhas. In the first quarter of an hour, I did some research on the different species of piranha. The River Monsters episode focused mostly on Pygocentris natureri, the red-bellied piranha, so I decided to add that one to the game. I then searched for a reference image which I could use when modeling. While doing this, I also found out that red bellies are about a foot long, on average. In the second quarter, I began modeling using the popular software Blockbench. The fact that I was limited to only the usage of cubes did make the process difficult. Also, I could find nothing on the internet about the height and width of the fish, length everywhere I looked. Despite this, I kept working, and by the end, it was coming along nicely. Quarter 3. The fins were either too thick or too thin. They simply refused to be of a reasonable thickness. Half-height cubes would have solved everything. Elsewhere, the mouth was also proving difficult to model. It didn't look like a piranha's mouth. Dunkleosteus? Yes. A rooster? Perhaps. A piranha? Never. I found a solution. Instead of giving it several small teeth, I gave it two massive teeth, one for each jaw. Completely inaccurate, but much easier to shape. The model was complete. Perfection. Running high on dopamine, I started texturing. The reference image didn't really show a red belly, so I found a new one. Credit to River Monsters. In quarter 5, I completed the texture. Each cube required individual work, but it didn't take long. Afterwards, I began naming and organizing the body parts. The dorsal fin is on top, the caudal fin is the one at the back, the pectoral fins are at the sides, the ventral fin is underneath. I then exported the model and the texture to IntelliJ, the integrated development environment, where the code is written. I spent a goodly portion of the quarter writing the code for the model and renderer classes. Hopping into the game, I then tried to summon a piranha for the first time. Naturally, I failed, but the log gave me a clue as to what the issue might have been. Entity Endure Piranha has no attributes. So in quarter 7, I defined some attributes. In fact, one attribute, health. I think I used the salmons. Anyway, attempt number 2 was also unsuccessful. I then added a second attribute, generic follow range. Why? The piranha is a schooling fish. The third attempt was a step in the right direction. The piranha had the correct texture, but the model of a bison. I soon fixed that. Attempt numero 4 was a resounding success. The texture needed some work and the shadow was too large, but no major issues. I had one goal for quarter 8, get the piranha to move around in water. And on my first attempt, believe it or not, the goal was achieved. I can't explain how I did it, but it was sheer genius. After that, I began the development of a swimming animation. Piranhas swim, according to my assessment of the river monster's footage, by shaking the caudal fin? I don't know. I spent all of quarter 9 trying to get the animation to work. I looked at the source code of other modifications, but that didn't help me in the slightest. After what seemed like decades, I finally got it to work in quarter 10. The one problem was that the animation kept playing, even if the piranha was stationary, so I wasted some time trying to fix that. By quarter 11, I was sick and tired of all the animation work. Pouring all of my time and effort into one aspect of the fish didn't seem smart. So I designed a spawning mechanism. Rivers were the only biome that I chose, obviously. Piranha schools can reach numbers of 10,000 in the wild, but I have more than 2 brain cells, so I set the maximum group size as 10. I also started making the texture for the piranha meat item. In quarter 12, I finished the textures for the raw piranha meat and piranha steak items and added them both to the game. I also set up the loot table for the raw meat as well. Quarter 13. It was time to stop avoiding the inevitable. Attack mechanics. My first three attempts to get the piranha to bite me failed. I used the melee attack goal, the zombie target selector, even a higher priority for the goal, but nothing worked. But refusing to give up, I analyzed my code thoroughly. I had an answer. Aha! What if I combine the zombie's target selector with the melee attack goal? Success! The knockback was insanely high for a fish that I could literally hold in my hand, but it was progress. I also added a custom damage source. Basically, the death message reads bitten by piranha instead of slain by piranha. I was stuck. I couldn't figure out how to reduce the knockback. I even tried to remove it completely at one point, but that didn't work. How was it that a mere piranha could push me back by a couple of meters? Confused and lost in a deep, dark forest of code, I gave up. Not wasting more time on this. Space I can recover. Time, never. According to Jeremy Wade, fisherman and adventurer, one of the reasons piranhas attack humans is if they're bleeding. So I thought to myself, what if I can make the piranha only attack the player if they're not at maximum health? So that's what I did. First try, by the way. I even added another condition that the player has to be moving around a lot. Actually, the piranha will attack if either of these conditions is true, just so it's more interesting. In quarter 17, I finished the attack conditions. When setting the minimum speed to provoke the piranha, I wasted some time, thanks to incorrect calculations, on several occasions in fact. Anyhow, they were finished. I wanted to see if I could create a bleeding effect, but there wasn't much time left in the quarter. So in quarter 18, I created the bleeding effect. It seemed to work. The problem was, if the player died of blood loss, the death message read, killed by magic. Now, red bellied piranhas are the stuff of nightmares, but they aren't magical. So I spent the rest of the quarter trying to figure out how to change the death message. In a fit of rage, I removed the bleeding effect. There wasn't much time left till the 5 hours were up, and I wasn't making any progress. Anyway, I had bigger fish to fry. The spawning mechanism wasn't working properly. Piranhas were spawning on the riverbanks. This was a massive flaw, which I will admit I had not anticipated. Nature was proving more difficult to control than I thought. I tried everything, but I could not get these fish to spawn in the rivers. In fact, they stopped spawning altogether. I tried again and again and again. I got it to work. Don't ask me how, but it works. It's done. I've uploaded it to the archives. It's done.